Hello and welcome to Exposing Oz.
President Obama continues to promise the American people that if they like the health insurance they have today, they can keep it.
Here's a guarantee that I've made. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance. If you've got a doctor that you like, you will be able to keep your doctor. Nobody is trying to change what works in the system. We are trying to change what doesn't work in the system.
Unfortunately, the proposals moving through the House and Senate today make it nearly impossible for the president to keep that promise. The vast majority of Americans get their health insurance through the place of work. The Lewin Group estimates that over 88 million Americans could lose their current employer-based coverage under the House bill. Even other estimates, far lower than the Lewin Group's, still point out that millions of Americans could lose their health insurance.
Here's the story of a group named Acorn, as dishonest and corrupt as they can be. But Acorn helped Obama get elected, so they'll get off scot-free. It's a story of Acorn law breaking, stealing votes and crushing all their foes, helping deadbeats get your tax dollars, arranging loans for hoes. But Acorn will still be helping fix the census, getting prostitutes free cash and a free lunch, and Obama's in their hip pocket. That is how Acorn became the Shady Bunch, the Shady Bunch, the Shady Bunch. That's the way Acorn became the Shady Bunch.
My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya. He grew up herding goats.
Frank Marshall Davis, writer. I have a collection of intimate portraits called horizontal cameos.
The free market, it doesn't work. It has never worked.
40 years ago, when I was 8 years old,
The American people will embrace the change.
For a lot of kids, the doors that have been open to me aren't open to them.
Obama needs us, Acorn, but we need Obama, don't we?
The Abraham Lincoln School. This was a progressive school.
There are kids who still believe in the American dream. They think it exists.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. In the last few decades, the average income of the top 1%,
take it then from the careless fists of the money drunk,
the breathtaking greed of a few,
place it in the reaching hands of the little people.
On March 23, 2010, President Barack Hussein Obama signed into law the Affordable Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare.
Is this your first prostate exam, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, but that's not the problem.
So what's the problem?
It's not very private.
That's why they call it public health care, Johnson.
Morning, Mr. Johnson. Nothing to worry about. You're my 93rd patient today.
Hey, buddy, hurry up. Mira's running.
Assume the position. Now, this might hurt just a little bit, but thanks to our president, we now have Obamacare.
How long have you been in this office?
I've been in this office 12 years. I was the first doctor to come into this building. The frustrating part of my day is I have 2 employees that work nearly full-time fighting Medicare and other insurance carriers for work that I have done. I absolutely detest that part of my life. I never imagined that I would do work and then have to fight a third party to get paid for the work that I do. So that part is particularly miserable. We're also being portrayed very poorly by the media, or we have been in the past. And now we have to fight the government. I mean, I never imagined that I would have to become politically active to take good care of my patients. And so that's added a whole nother element to the life of being a doctor. I took Medicaid until about 4 years ago. Medicaid paid none of their bills in my office for 18 months. And every single registered letter that we sent them came back saying that they had had problems with their computer, and that was why they could not pay my bills. So at the 18th month, I gave up and said, we can't do this anymore. Their reimbursement, as I mentioned earlier, is so low that I would have to see nearly 20 patients an hour to make any kind of reasonable reimbursement on it. In our community, with decreasing reimbursement, many of the primary care physicians have gotten off of Medicare. I don't actually know anyone who is taking Medicaid. Medicaid in Georgia reimburses about $30 for an office visit, and my overhead costs about $350 an hour before I take a penny out the door. So we would be looking at trying to see 20 patients an hour if we took Medicaid. So because so many physicians are getting off of these insurances, it's very hard to find places to send the patients. So a lot of our Medicare patients are having to go to the emergency room. I feel a great deal of anger. And when I look outside of myself and I look at the rest of the country, if a person